Okay, we're standing in front of a Lockheed T33. This aircraft carries over 800 gallons, like 830 gallons. In the area, the fuel is located in several places in the aircraft. We have the large tip tanks. Each of those tip tanks carries 230 gallons. You have a series of fuel tanks in each wing. These are a series of tanks. I think there's a total of 7, 2 caps on each side. Then there's 90 gallons stored in the fuselage as well. So this section just behind the cockpit, the entire wing and tip tanks carry fuel. This is a suck-in door. This door is sucked in by the engine during certain power settings. If you had a fire in the engines department, this would be an excellent place to put a fire extinguisher. Just push it right here. There's one on each side. Tailpipe as well. Turbine aircraft, there's a good chance you can have a fire out the tailpipe. And of course, underneath the midship of the aircraft as well is all the fuel lines. And if you've got a fuel line rupture, you're going to have fuel coming out from underneath the center section. Another option, the event of a fire, is in the intake as well. This is a large duct that runs right back to the engine compartment. And all of the fuel lines will end up terminating in there. There is a fuel line, large fuel line, goes through the right wheel well. And all of the fuel lines in this aircraft come to a terminus of sorts here above the speed brake. So if it's on its gear and the speed brake's open, you're liable to have fuel coming out of this area as well. Okay, we're going to open the canopy on this aircraft 2 ways. It's electric. If the battery power on it is clearly marked, and reach in here and hit open. But the problem with that is the canopy probably is going to be latched in the case of an emergency. So you can take this, unclips, it goes in here, and this actually moves the canopy latch. So move it whatever direction is free. Once that's unlatched, you're going to come over here and hit the button, the toggle switch, and open the canopy electrically. Now, for some reason, the canopy doesn't open that way. This also is made to fit a crank, and you can hand crank the airplane. Normally, we'd have a parachute on, but basically the harness is like any other 4-point harness. You grab the handle and pull, it separates, and now you can egress the cockpit.
Pull them out with your chute.
Yep.
Would normally be on.
Normally we'd have a chute on, but you know, if you were actually pulling somebody out of a cockpit, you'd probably pull them out with the chute on. So you wouldn't take the time to actually undo the chute. The chutes are standard, typically 1, 2, 3 clips on the chute to remove it. All right, so to shut the fuel off on this, obviously the throttle has to be in the cutoff position. That's a normal idle position. It goes to the outside and back to cutoff. Has a series of pumps over here. You want to turn all the pumps off. And it's these 4 switches. And then there's a master shutoff for the fuel. The master fuel shutoff is going to be located in this area. This one, this aircraft is labeled fuel shutoff. And you're going to switch it to off, and you have to do that before the battery is shut off because it's an electric switch. If you switch the battery off first, the shutoff will not activate. Where's the battery? Battery switch is located over here. So the battery comes to an off position, and that shuts off every electrical system in the aircraft. And that can be shut off from both cockpits. The battery switch can be activated from either cockpit. The chance that one of these aircraft would actually go on the back would be pretty slim, but the only thing you can do is get a forklift and lift it from anywhere on the fuselage.